Well, hello. Thank you for joining me for this presentation. Um, in this presentation, I'm going to talk to you about the application process, how the timetable for Year 10 students will be structured in September, and talk about the sort of do's and don'ts about the subjects that you're interested in applying for. So the first thing really that you're going to need to get to grips with is that when you transition from year 9 into year 10, it's quite a significant change for you. Up until this point, throughout your education, teachers have been assessing you based on levels, national curriculum levels. So the reports that you have home, your target would be a level 6 or a level 5 or a level 8, and progress is charted against that. So you might currently be working at a 5B, and so on. But when we get into Key Stage 4, everything is based on grades, A star to G usually, but in some subjects you have pass, distinction and merits. So that's quite a difference. The other key difference is that in Key Stage 2 and 3, your teacher assessments are based on evidence gathered over your time within that key stage, from the work in your books, rather than final examinations. In Key Stage 4, the vast majority of subjects are all graded based on your performance at the end of the course. Another big change, which is why you were watching this video tonight, is that you do now get the opportunity to have some control over what you study. You're able to choose some subjects that you want to study in greater depth. And you will also undertake what is known as the Welsh Baccalaureate qualification, which is an overarching certificate awarded when you can demonstrate that you are able to achieve a certain number of GCSEs at a certain level of grades. And Mr. Cole will be talking to you about that when you go and watch the presentation on Welsh Baccalaureate. I mentioned in the previous slide that you have some control over the subjects that you can choose. You don't have complete control, and in fact, the vast majority of your subjects are ones that you are obliged to follow right the way up until the end of year 11 when you turn 16. So those are known as the core subjects from our core curriculum. And you can see here on on this slide what subjects those are. So in English, English will appear on your timetable, but at the end of the 2 years, you sit 2 sets of different qualifications in English language and English literature, and your fortnightly timetable will have 7 hours of English on it. Maths also gives you 2 GCSE outcomes at the end of the 2 years, one in mathematics and one in numeracy, and that also covers 7 hours of your timetable in year 10 and year 11. Science, the majority of students in year 11 follow the double award science, and that is also equivalent to 2 GCSEs, and they get 9 hours of teaching time for that, split into 3 hours of physics, 3 hours of biology, and 3 hours of chemistry. Welsh is a core subject, gives you a full GCSE in Welsh, and that takes 4 hours of your timetable. You get 3 hours of timetable time for religious studies, and you get a GCSE in religious studies out of that. You get core PE, which is 1 hour a week of physical education, which doesn't lead to any qualifications, other than encouraging you to develop a healthy attitude to your life. And then, as I mentioned, there's the Welsh Baccalaureate, and part of that you do complete the Skills Challenge certificate, and there are 3 hours of time on your timetable for that. And again, as I said, if you click on the Welsh Baccalaureate presentation or go into the Welsh Baccalaureate room, Mr. Cole will be in a position to give you more detail about that. So if you think at the moment you've got a 2-week timetable, a week A and a week B, and it covers 50 hours of learning. Those 50 hours of learning in year 10, 35 of them are taken up by the core curriculum that I've gone through in that slide. Then it comes to your options. So you are able to choose an additional 3 courses, and each of those will have 5 hours on the timetable. So that's another 15 hours, making up your 50-hour timetable. And the choice is pretty extensive at Greenhill. We're really fortunate at the options we're able to make available to you from a number of areas. So you can see there science. If you really love your science, then rather than just doing the 9 hours of double, you can take an additional 5 hours on an option block and then get 3 GCSEs out of it rather than 2. And those would appear on your certificates as biology, chemistry and physics rather than just double science. We offer French as a modern foreign language. We offer history and geography in humanities. We've got quite an extensive choice within technology and computing. So you can see there product design, textiles, construction, hospitality and catering, computer science. We no longer offer ICT, the course has changed and that's now called digital technology. And we also do a collaborative course, which I'll mention a little bit later on, called the Junior Apprenticeship in Engineering. In the creative arts areas, we offer art and design, music and drama. And health, well-being, sport and leisure, you can choose physical education, sport coaching, health, social and childcare, tourism, and another collaborative course, the military prep school. Now, in order to make the timetable work, those option choices or subjects that I listed on the previous slide have to be organized into 3 different groups so that they can fit on our school timetable. And the way that they're going to be grouped this year is as I've shown in that table there. So block P is a block which will have 5 slots on the timetable where all of year 10 will either be in digital technology, drama, geography, history, product design, textiles, or triple science. So each student will have to be in one of those classes. So that group will be where they choose one of those subjects. And then similarly, for a different 5 hours on the year 10 timetable, these subjects are all delivered at the same time. And then the final 5-hour block to take you from the 35 to the 50 is this block. So what your child or what you will have to do is make those decisions. Sadly, when the blocks are put together, I have to consider staff availability and popularity of courses. So it's inevitable that some combinations will not work. So to give you an example, if you want to do drama, it's not possible for you to do product design, textiles, or triple science because those subjects don't appear in any of the other blocks. Whereas a subject like geography appears in more than one block, so you could choose to do drama in that block and pick up geography in one of the others. I mentioned the collaborative courses. There are 2 courses that we offer in conjunction with Pembrokeshire College, and they're offered across all the schools in Pembrokeshire. So with the course Military Preparation School and Junior Apprenticeship in Engineering, if you opt to do either of those courses, it means that you will spend 1 day a week in Pembrokeshire College, and on those courses you may be mixing with students from any of the other secondary schools in Pembrokeshire. They're very popular courses. They're usually oversubscribed. We have a limited number of places available to us. So if you're interested in finding out more about those, then I would strongly suggest that you drop into those areas when you get the opportunity on Monday evening. And as I said, they will involve study at Pembrokeshire College on Thursdays in year 10, and then that moves to a Wednesday in year 11. You would get to the college using the college transport network that has bus stops all around the villages within Pembrokeshire. So you wouldn't come to school at all on those days. You would get on the college bus to Haverfordwest, and you would come home directly to your village on the college transport as well. So, application process. What do I need you to do over the next few weeks? Well, the first thing to say is that a number of the courses that are offered have got, as I mentioned there with the two college courses, there's a limited capacity. We haven't got infinite space and infinite teacher capacity for some courses, in particular courses that are in the design technology group. And similarly, some courses, if there isn't enough interest, if we only get 2 or 3 students wanting to choose that course, then it's likely not to run. So in order to make sure that I can make as many students as happy as possible, when they are making their options, I ask them to make 2 choices on each of those blocks. So I need you to make a preferred choice, which is what you would really, really like to do if there was space on the course and I can get you into it. And then a second choice in each block, which I'm calling a reserve choice, which means if a particular course is oversubscribed and I have to make a decision not to offer you that course, then I am able to put you into a course that I know you wouldn't really mind following as well. It's important that you only choose one DT subject as your first choice, because all of those groups are limited to a maximum of 15 for health and safety reasons, and I can't run 2 groups because we don't have the staff availability to do that. So you only put one DT subject as your first choice, and then I'll do everything I can to make sure that I can accommodate you with that. Where we have subjects that appear in more than one block, so history, geography, digital technology in particular, you only choose it as a first choice in one block. There's no such thing as double history or double digital technology. So, if you really, really want to do history, then by all means put it as a first choice in one and a second choice in another, and that would be quite clear to me then, but only make it as first choice in one block. And what I aim to do is for as many students as possible to be put into their 3 preferred choice courses. But when that isn't possible, and every year I have to make decisions about moving students into their reserve choices, that they have no more than one reserve choice subject. So things that you need to think about doing and not doing when you're making your choices. Don't choose a subject that you're only really choosing because your friends are doing so. Okay, choose something that you're genuinely interested in extending your learning in that area. Don't choose a subject because you like your current teacher, because you don't know who your teacher will be for that course in September. So bear that in mind. If you're considering the engineering apprenticeship course in the college, I would strongly advise that you don't do that if you struggle or you don't enjoy mathematics, because in addition to your 7 hours of maths in school, there is quite a mathematical challenge to that engineering course. And in addition to the workshop work that you would be doing, there are additional maths lessons and maths exams that form part of that course. So bear that in mind if you're not a fan of maths. Do think about your future plans and whether or not the subject is relevant. Okay, do a little bit of research on the Careers Wales website, or we've got careers representation on the live event on Monday evening. So by all means, drop in and talk to Angharad, who will be able to give you some advice. There are some subjects that without doing a GCSE, picking up at A level in the sixth form would be a big challenge. But there are many subjects that if you don't get onto a technology course in Key Stage 4, for example, that wouldn't prevent you from picking up a technology-based course in college when you leave school. So if you don't get on your first choice for something like that, it doesn't close doors for you. Try to keep some breadth in your curriculum. In only being able to put one first choice technology course down, you're going to be doing that anyway. But try to keep a nice range of maybe a DT type course, a humanities type course, and health well-being course, that sort of thing. If you're considering triple science, please bear in mind it's not vital that you take triple science in order to take the A-level sciences, and it is a significant chunk of your timetable if you are doing triple science. So rather than 9 hours of double science, which is more than any other subject, you'll end up being timetabled for 14 hours of science, and sometimes on your timetable that will end up as 2 or 3 lessons of science in the same day. So you've really got to love all your sciences, your biology, chemistry, and physics, in order to want to make the commitment to pick up triple science. On the website, next to this presentation will be a link where you're able to print off this just for your own record. The application process is online, but for you to just have something that you can write on what your first choice or your preferred and your reserved choices are in each subject. So if you wanted to take, for example, geography as your preferred choice here and history is reserved, you'd have a P in geography and an R in history. Then you would make another P and an R choice in Q and another P and an R choice in R. So what's next? Well, this evening, on Monday, the 8th of March, is your opportunity to find out more about the subject. And it's not just about your options. If you take a subject like maths is quite different in the qualifications that you end up heading towards through Key Stage 4 than it was in Key Stage 3. And if you drop into the maths area, you'll find out a lot more information or be able to ask questions about that. And the same for the other core subjects as well. So don't just focus on the 3 choices you are going to make. Use this as an opportunity to find out about those core subjects too. You then complete the online options choices form. The web address for that is there. It's also hyperlinked from the home page of this options site, and it's also written onto the options form I showed you on the previous page. You'll need to log on using your Hub username. You're all familiar now with what that is because all the online work that you've been doing over the last few months has been through Hub. So make sure you log in using that. And I need you to complete your application by the 22nd of March. So that's 2 weeks after this presentation. And once I have all that information, I then need to work with those preferred and reserve option choices, and using that information, I will confirm by May half term what courses or what options, what subjects you will be given places on from September. If you've got any questions for me with regards to those option blocks or anything else, I'm in one of the drop-in rooms this evening. I think it's an any questions one. Or you can email me. There's my email address. And then there's a final reminder there of the website that you need to go to make your options. Or you can just scan that QR code and that will take you where you need to go. So I hope you have a good evening. I hope you find out all the information that you want, and that there's lots of choice that you can pick from.